What is up, my YouTube family? Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, then it's just welcome to my channel and not welcome back. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button because you will not be disappointed unless, of course, your taste level is lacking. And if that's the case, you have other options. Y'all's niece is craving violence, okay? She is out here. Well, now she wants to have some couth about herself, but she was barking at a neighbor's dog and just about foaming at the mouth. I said, you're not going out there for a battle, girl. Not today. Y'all, before we get into today's video, for those of you who don't follow me on Instagram, but y'all like the pup updates, I took my babies to see the Christmas lights. Bella really likes car rides, and I put them in the Jeep. I took the top off and we rode around the neighborhood and saw the Christmas lights, and they absolutely loved it. Blue's eyes being this big was hilarious, okay? He was wowed. And so was Bella. So that was fun. Downtown Houston has some lights as well. So I'm going to take them to see that light show too, because my kids deserve. They want to see all of the things to see. Also, before I get started on today's case, I want to say hi to Liz. Shout out to you, girl. I spoke about my friend day in the last video, and a lot of y'all were like, update us, update us. Well, we did meet and it went really well. And I really enjoy her. I really like her. So yeah, I'm excited to have a new plant friend and somebody to go see horror films with me, because y'all know none of my current friends like scary movies, but she's a horror girl. So there's that update. And yeah, without further ado, let me get right into what we are discussing today. And this case is a lot different than any other one that I've talked about on this channel, and it's a lot. It is the very controversial case of Mary Kay Letourneau, born on January 30th of 1962 in Aquarius. Now, she was born in Orange County, California, Mary Catherine Schmitz, and grows up in a very conservative, very strict Catholic household. Both of her parents are also into politics. Her father actually runs for president in 1972 as a candidate in the far-right American Independent Party, and he is known, very well known, for his extreme right-wing views and being very overtly racist against African Americans, Hispanics, and also Jewish people, and he is extremely homophobic. He would go on his campaign tours like openly referring to these groups as slurs. John later becomes the leader of the John Birch Society, which is a right-wing political advocacy group, but he is ironically dethroned from his position there for his extremist rhetoric. Now, John also works as a political science professor at Santa Ana College, and in 1982, 10 years after he had run for president, John rocks the local news headlines when it is revealed that he has been living a double life. He has a second secret family with a former student of his, Carla Stuckle, that he has been having a nearly decade-long affair with, and they have 2 children together. And that's not all of the scandal. Carla had taken their son to the hospital for some injuries, but the injuries were determined to have been a result of abuse. So they hit Carla with some charges for this abuse, and when this happened, she is forced to name the father of her child and reveals that it is John Smith. A huge part of his political persona is him being a family man. This completely wrecks his political career, as well as his wife's career as a conservative political commentator. Now, little Mary and her 6 siblings are devastated by the news and their father's betrayal of the family. He admits to the affair, he apologizes, and then just moves on with his life without helping Carla care for these children he created with her at all. Not financially. He doesn't stop by for a birthday, nothing. And all of this combined tarnishes his image beyond repair. And although little Mary is disappointed in her father, she still admires what little he managed to accomplish in the political space and hopes to someday follow in his footsteps and, take it on home. Mary attends Arizona State University with plans to move to Washington, D.C. after graduation, but those plans of hers, they change when she meets a fellow student by the name of Steve Letourneau, and the two begin dating. And when Mary finds out that she is pregnant, the two of them decide to go ahead and get married. They move to Anchorage, Alaska for a while, and then decide to settle down in Seattle, Washington. Child, not the Tubi version of Washington, D.C. I'm just playing. I have never been to Seattle. I heard it's beautiful. No shade. Now, the two of them, they settle down. They have 3 more children. And instead of Mary following her father's footsteps as far as his political career, she decides to follow his path, becoming an educator. She teaches at Shorewood Elementary elementary school in a little town right outside of Seattle. Now, teaching, it seems like a really good fit for Mary. She is well liked by all of her little students as well as the staff, and she is viewed as not only a good teacher but a good person. She really has a way with kids, even the ones that are a little troublesome and tend to give the other teachers a hard time. Those kids often gravitate toward Mary and listen to her when they will not listen to her peers, and one of these students is Billy. She first meets Billy in her second grade class, and he was just one of those kids that really like to act out. A few years later, the two are paired again when he is enrolled in her sixth grade class. Billy is still very disruptive in class, but despite his need to act out, Mary grows very fond of this student. She begins making exceptions for him, certain allowances for him that she does not afford the other students. And this is not something that is completely out of the ordinary, because a lot of times teachers do have favorite students and they will show favoritism. At least that was my experience in school. I've witnessed teachers show like obvious favoritism towards certain students. So to those around, this seems just like that. Mrs. Letourneau apparently has a way with the children because she's just good at what she does, or so it seems, because little does everyone around them know, Mary feels herself developing somewhat of a crush on this young boy. And according to her, a million little moments began to build up into something beautiful yet scary at the same time. They become very close, and Mary feels that she and this sixth grader have a lot in common and a really compatible sense of humor. Now, Billy also has this like childhood little crush on his teacher as well, and he places a bet with his cousin that he'll get her, and expresses to his cousin that he also feels like she might have a crush on him too. Like there's something there. He spends his little evenings after school planning out the things that he'll say to her, the things that he'll do. He leaves little surprises on her desk. He begins writing Mrs. Letourneau love letters, and she starts writing him back. And although it began as like a little bet, like I bet you I can get her, over time he really grows fond of Mrs. Letourneau, and it becomes more about his admiration for her, his attraction to her, and less about him trying to prove a point or win a bet. And then the summertime rolls around, and the two of them realize that they will not be able to see each other for at least 2 to 3 months. But Mary vows to make time for them too. A nearby community college offers art classes over the summer, and both of them sign up for the class as a way to regularly see each other. And Mary has always encouraged Billy to explore his artistic talent, so it doesn't seem odd to anyone. And even aside from that, she keeps constant communication with this 12-year-old boy and continues to create scenarios for them to see each other, finding even more ways to see this young boy whenever she can. She begins inviting him to her house, encouraging a friendship between him and her oldest son, which is a year younger than him. One evening, she and Billy go for a ride in her car, and they park somewhere so that they could spend some time together one-on-one before she drops him off home. And an officer spots her getting out of the backseat of her car and getting into the driver's seat, which he thinks is kind of, of a red flag. So he goes and approaches the vehicle and finds her there with this child. Now, the two of them give the officer a fake name, and Mary insists or lies and says that Billy is 18. And child, that is obviously not the case. When he asks what they're doing out there, she tells the officer that she and her husband had gotten into a fight, that Billy is a family friend. He was there, he had gotten upset and had taken off. She had come out to find him, and that was just it. She was gonna take him home. Child, neither one of them can provide any type of identification to the officer, obviously, because they have lied about their names and ages. So the officer takes them down to the station. Billy's mother is called, but when asked what she would like for the officers to do with her son, she says that it's perfectly fine for him to be with Mrs. Letourneau. She knows him as her teacher. The two of them have sons the same age that play together, so it's perfectly fine. His mother is not made aware of the fact that the two of them have lied about their ages or anything like that. That information was omitted. So as far as she knows, there's nothing to suspect. Within the coming weeks, the two of them, they meet up again to be alone, and this time Mary crosses the line, like far. She moves in to kiss Billy, taking him by surprise, and he was happy to get this kiss, but she does not stop there. Mary officially initiates a sexual relationship with her student, who is 12 years old, just a few weeks shy of turning 13, and she is 34. She takes every opportunity to see him and have these moments with him, and by the end of the summer, Mary is pregnant. Now, one would think that this would scare her a little bit, but it does not. She continues to see Billy during the fall semester whenever she can, and in her mind, they're in a whole relationship. Now, February the following year is like deja vu for Mary. Her husband Steve discovers a stash of love letters exchanged between his wife and this child. He confides in a relative who immediately goes to both the school and the police station. And a very pregnant Mary Letourneau is immediately arrested and charged for her crimes. And just like with her father, the headlines in the news are flooded with reports of her having this inappropriate relationship with her student and being pregnant by him. Y'all, she wanted to be just like her daddy John, and so she was. On May 29th of 1997, Mary gives birth to her daughter, fathered by 13-year-old Billy, and just 3 months later pleads guilty to 2 counts of second-degree child rape. In court, she tells the judge, "Your Honor, I did something that I had no right to do, morally or legally. It was wrong and I am sorry. I give you my word that it will not happen again. Please, please help me. Help us all." End quote. For her crimes, Mary is sentenced to 89 months in prison, which is about 7.5 years, and she is paroled after serving only 6 months of a prison sentence. From there, she is required to enter into a 3-year treatment program for offenders. She is also diagnosed with bipolar disorder and put on medication for that as well. When she is released, she is ordered not to make contact of any kind with Billy or any other minors for that matter. And she is reminded of the promise that she had made to the judge. But child, you know what they say about promises. They're meant to be broken. Just 1 month after her release, Mrs. Letourneau is caught with Billy in her car, along with a bunch of baby clothes, groceries, $6,200 cash, and Billy's passport. The two of them had plans to run away together. She is, of course, immediately arrested. She admits that this was not the first time that the two of them had contact, that she literally made contact with him hours after her release, but this was the first time they had been caught. When Mrs. Letourneau goes to court this time, the judge reads her for filth, tells her that this violation of her parole is very egregious and is profoundly disturbing. And Mary was out here not doing any of the things she was told to do. She had abandoned both her treatment plans for being an offender as well as having bipolar disorder. She knew that violating her parole was risky, but Mary expected to get maybe a year this time. But no, the judge orders her to complete her original sentence. But by now, the damage has already been done because Mary is currently pregnant with her and Billy's second child. At this point, Steve Letourneau divorces Mary, takes their 4 children, moves back to Alaska with them, and Miss Girl heads on back to prison. In October, she gives birth to her second daughter for Billy and names the baby Georgia. And at this point, she doesn't feel like she has anything to lose. She and Billy have been in constant communication, planning for the day that she will be released again and the two of them can live their lives together in peace. The one thing that keeps her going behind those prison walls is the life that she imagines having with Billy and their 2 daughters after she is released. And it's kind of sick. And while she is in prison making these promises to Billy, he is on the outside in turmoil. He is very depressed. He drops out of school to help his mother, who is taking care of their daughters. His mother is doing her best to try to take care of these kids, support her son. She does not approve of the relationship at all. She wants Mary to stop contacting her son. She is trying to tell Billy, like, this is not right. This is not okay. Like, you're a victim. You're not in love. But he is not trying to hear that. And in March of 99, things come to a head with his emotions and his feelings, and he attempts to take his own life. Now, at this point, his mother is fed up. She files a lawsuit against the school and against against the police station for failing to stop the relationship and the police station because they did not give her the full story that evening when they called. Like, she had no idea they were found in a car alone together and that the two of them had lied about his age. Had she gotten those tidbits of information, they would have been red flags and she possibly could have acted sooner. But now her child got these two kids and it's just a whole big mess. Unfortunately, in 2002, a jury does rule against our lawsuit and she does not win. And 2 years after that, in 2004, Mary's time is up and she is released. She picks up right where she left off with now 20-year-old Billy. Now, there was a no contact order in place forbidding the two of them from making contact and seeing each other, but Mary paints herself out to be a victim of love. And Billy too claims that he might not know much, but he does know that he is in love. That he is certain of. So the two of them petitioned the courts to have the no contact order reversed, and the judge that they see reverses it. Within months, 43-year-old Mary Letourneau and now 21-year-old Billy tie the knot, and their two daughters serve as their flower girls. Mary describes this wedding day as magical. She said that the announcement of them being husband and wife felt like a dream come true, a long-awaited dream come true was what she said. They rent a house and spend the next 10 years focusing on being a family, raising their two kids together, while everybody around them gives them the stink eye. Now in 2015, they celebrate their 10-year wedding anniversary and they sit down with the iconic and messy Barbara Walters for an interview. Billy makes it very clear that he despises being viewed as a victim. They claim to still be very much genuinely in love, and Mary makes it painfully clear that she has not one single regret. Mary says, quote, "Am I sorry that he is the father of my children and that we're married and this is the man in my life? No, I am not." And child, they have no shame whatsoever, which I think is mind-boggling, because imagine if all of this, like, reverse the roles. If this was a male teacher going after a 12-year-old girl like this, getting her pregnant, like, it would be crazier. Like, it's crazy, but I think it would be a lot more outrage, as if this male child is any less a victim. But y'all, that's the world we live in, I guess. And when I say they had no shame, they had none. Billy becomes a DJ and the two of them would host these events at a local nightclub called Hot for Teacher. Like, that was the theme, as if that's cute. Together, the two of them co-write a book about their love titled Only One Crime: Love. And their story is also portrayed in the made-for-TV film Mary Kay Letourneau, All-American Girl, and another one that just came out in 2023 called May December. Now, from my understanding, that movie, May December, is not 100% about their love specifically, but Mary is represented as one of the women in the film. Now, despite how hard they fight for their love and how much of a campaign they go on to prove that this is normal love and it's okay, the two of them do not remain married. They separate in 2017 and they divorce in 2019, claiming that their love had gradually faded over time. Maybe he got a little too mature for Mary, but it is also rumored that they only got divorced because Billy wanted to pursue a career in like the marijuana business and he wanted it to be really legit. He wanted to be licensed, and in order to do that, he would have had to have a background check as well as the person that he was married to, and with her history, it would have muddied the waters, allegedly. That's just one theory that's out there. He does move to California to get in that business, but right after the divorce, he finds out that Mary is terminally ill. When he finds out that Mary is very ill, he decides to leave California and return to be by her side to take care of her. And during the final months of her life, he is her 24-hour caretaker. She passed away on July 6th of 2020, and she was 58 years old. And you know what's so weird? Her father had also passed away of cancer, and it's like she was just this very eerie replica of him. Now, Mary also reportedly rekindled her relationship with her 4 oldest children from her previous marriage and had a relationship with them before she passed. And that is pretty much it for this video. Billy still has done more interviews maintaining that he was not a victim, and child, yes, okay, you were a victim, baby. But what's interesting is Billy has done more interviews, and he has since said that now that his kids are older, he kind of sees what was wrong with it. He would not allow them to date anybody that much older than them, especially if they were minors. And if he found himself being attracted to somebody that young, he would seek help. So there's that. I know a lot of y'all are mother's baby. Drop down in the comments and let me know your thoughts on this case. What would you do if this was your child? She would have had to meet me in the street. I'm not gonna hold you. Anyway, as always, I appreciate you so much for spending your time with me. Don't forget to like the video, share the video, subscribe if you have not. As always, I appreciate you so much for spending your time with me, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Peace. Also, before I get started on today's video, I was about to say also again, child, help me. Bella is hacking in the background like a cat with a hairball. Bella, you swallowing your toes in the background is throwing me off. Did y'all hear that note? Beauty ain't no issue for someone like you. Excuse me, girl, this is a solo. What are you on? Mary following her father's footsteps. What? I gotta watch out for her, baby. She might bop me in the back of the head. Y'all know she can't be trusted, but that's my girl. He confides in a relative. Instead, the judge, so they need to get Mary away from all them kids, baby. Her kid, the kid she thinks she in love with. Like, imagine if this was a man doing this.